This one's going to be quick and simple. As many of you might have heard a couple nights ago, I think about a week ago now, there has been a decision made regarding the draft. For those of you who aren't aware, because I know we have a global audience, the draft is sort of like your conscription, except a little different. We don't mandate our people to go into the military, but we can mandate them to join during times of need. So recently they've just announced they will now be automatically signing up men between the ages of 18 to 25 for the draft. Why does that matter? Well, up until this point, yes, most states did automatically, but some states you didn't have to do it automatically, sort of a choice situation. And also it gives wonder for the times. This is the Glass Floor Podcast. We're a podcast that usually focuses on sort of bringing both halves of gender reality and trying to find the in-between. Though in this episode, I will admit it is a little bit more of trying to bring awareness, but we're still going to see both sides of gender reality. We're sponsored by NCFM, the National Coalition for Men, which is an organization that fights hard against discrimination and stereotypes against boys, men, and the families that love them. They're an all-inclusive, diverse, nonpartisan group. And so this episode, if you haven't figured out, we're going to be talking about the draft. It's a little alarming because right now we're sort of in the middle of not just one war, but multiple that have sort of melded into a similar war. I know some people might take offense to that, but it's 3 different wars, but there are many similar characters and reasons. And a lot of people are talking about the fact that it seems unfair we're in these wars, but even more so, it's the fact that even though we decided it was unconstitutional, it was done in the Supreme Court. They went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said it was unconstitutional, only draft men. We are now automatically drafting only men.
Hence the image.
Yes. Uncle Sam is asking for only men.
And he likes them young.
Yes. For those of you who aren't aware, the draft is required for all men in the United States. It is for the ages of 18 to 25. And the penalties are for not signing up for the draft: 5 years of imprisonment being possible and $250,000 in fines, which seems pretty high for not wanting to sign up to go to war for a country that currently a lot of people are feeling not so great about. Just for personal references, I would like to go back for old timers. If any of you would like to go back to Vietnam, in which we had a somewhat similar situation. Granted, back then the fine amount was $150,000, so they had to bring in inflation. Bring up an extra $100,000.
Yeah, I remember my brother. He's 4 years older, and he was subject to the draft. He was sweating it out. He was wringing his hands and moaning, and he was not in a deep fear and funk and depression for fear of being excluded. Mm-hmm. He was in fear of being included in the draft and the battlefield. Wow. So it's the same as it's always been, except for this automatic registration, which begins in December.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the point. It is the way it's always been.
It's just different. Back then they did it on paper, and now most states, except for 4, you automatically register either through college applications or the DMV.
Yeah, but what I mean is it's the same, is that it's all men.
It's all men.
Yeah. So that's the issue. That's what we're looking at is the gender aspect. So that's much of what the Glass Floor podcast is about. That men have always occupied both extremes, the most and the least enviable positions on earth, the latter in far greater numbers than the former. And in short, for every one CEO at the very top, there have been many POWs at the bottom. And what we're looking at here is nothing has changed about that. And so this is a profoundly controversial issue.
Mm-hmm.
Should women be in the military? And it can be argued either way.
Well, women are in the military. The real argument is whether women should be drafted.
Drafted, that's right. And also forced out on the battlefield, out on the front lines, along with the men. And it is complex. That's what I would call unisex equality.
Mm-hmm.
That's an exact sameness of equality. That's 4 equals 4 equality. That's treating men and women as identical and interchangeable. Mm-hmm. And in that case, the equality is self-evident. Mm-hmm. What if we had balanced equality? What if men got certain things for being men and women got certain things for being women? Mm-hmm. Can there still be balance? Can it still be considered equal even if it's not identical? You see, if it were so easy, if this unisex equality were so easy, we'd have it by now. But you see, even in 2026, they're still not willing to draft women.
And to that, they're also not getting punished if they don't want to be drafted.
The women, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So.
Well, the men are, everything's taken away. They can be fined, they can be put in jail, their grants can be taken away, their citizenship, as we found out, can be taken away. So think about that. You could be born here, and just because you don't want to enter the draft, whoop, you're not part of this country.
Not really, that's right. So one of the deepest aspects of all this is feminism's insistence that women have always been excluded from the draft. They've always been excluded from the battlefield. And I would propose that is obscene. My Lord. Surely, while that is true, it is factually true that women have been excluded from the battlefield, that truth is dwarfed by another truth that transcends it by many orders of magnitude, and that is that women have always been exempt from the battlefield. Mm-hmm. You know, many a man has showed up at the draft board wearing a dress, hoping to get the same exemption that his sister enjoys automatically. It's, you know, if only men will be drafted and put out there and be torn to pieces out on the battlefield, if only men were really going to be put into the truly most dangerous positions. And so far, they have not. So far, we've had like 8% women in the military, but 2% female fatalities. Mm-hmm. So they really have not faced the killing zones that men have. And so long as men are going to continue to take the brunt of it, shouldn't men at least get credit for it? Mm-hmm. And, you know, when feminists stand up and scream, "We are the powerless victims of all things," can it maybe be used to shame the women that claim that female pain is special and deserving of all the empathy?
I would argue, and this is a personal opinion that I realize not everyone agrees with, but I would argue that we should ask the feminists this. Would they rather protest in the pain of war or in the pain of home?
Huh.
because given the numbers, that means a huge amount of the military is male. It means more men are being traumatized and veterans are in the streets and people who are ending up with injuries are the men.
Yeah.
So the question is, do you want to fight to be a part of that, or do you want to fight so nobody has to be a part of that? Unless they choose to.
Yes. Well, of course, that would be ideal, obviously. No draft.
Mm-hmm.
But they are planning to do it. They are planning to have a draft. And
As it seems. Mm-hmm.
and in December, well, yeah, I mean, they're setting up for it.
Mm.
So they're signing up. They're doing the paperwork, as it were, at this point, right? So they're automatically registering men and only men, 18 to 25, for a draft, which may or may not happen. I object in the strongest terms to this. It's like we're letting feminists just get away with murder with this. To claim exclusion from the battlefield is yet another victimization of women. I mean, it's not that there's no truth to it, because of course there is. It's just that it's shameless. It's a shameless victim mongering, for heaven's sake. And women do have the option. They can volunteer.
But that's the point, is they have the choice to volunteer, and our
Yeah,
men don't.
right.
So we have two options. Either we don't give women the choice to volunteer, especially if they want to talk about the unfairness of not being in the draft.
Yeah.
I know there's not a lot of them arguing that, or we just don't draft anybody.
Uh-huh. What do you think? Give us your opinion in the down below. Tell us what you think.
And more importantly, think about the people in your life that are eligible for the draft. And do you want them to be there? Think about how that affects them.
Yep. So hit the like button and subscribe and comment. Thank you.
Thank you.